Muy bien, buenas tardes, bienvenidos entonces al IT Essential y ya estamos en el capítulo 7. Vamos a ver hoy computadoras portátiles y dispositivos móviles. Bien, las características de las computadoras portátiles y otros dispositivos móviles. Dentro de las características de estos dispositivos tenemos básicamente, ¿verdad?, lo que es la movilidad. Esto de movilidad, ¿qué significa? Pues que nos permite llevar el dispositivo tanto del trabajo a la oficina como a un lugar donde nosotros necesitemos conectarnos, bien sea un café o cualquier otra parte, ¿verdad?, que nos permita una conexión vía Wi-Fi, ¿verdad? Porque esa es una de las ventajas de estos dispositivos móviles, así como el caso de los celulares que tienen su propia red para conectarse a Internet. Una de las ventajas de estos dispositivos es que además tienen alimentación automática, ¿verdad? Porque poseen baterías de larga duración que además son bastante ligeras. Los computadores portátiles son computadoras móviles, ¿verdad? Como acabamos de mencionar, además estas computadoras poseen sistemas operativos, bien sea como Windows, ¿verdad? iOS, ¿verdad? Que es el dispositivo para móviles, o quizás Linux, además de eh, el sistema operativo de Macintosh, ¿verdad? Las computadoras portátiles pueden tener los mismos recursos de potencia del cómputo de memoria que las computadoras de escritorio. No existe casi ninguna diferencia, ¿verdad? Estas computadoras integran una pantalla, un teclado y un dispositivo señalador como un panel táctil o un dispositivo portátil. Las computadoras portátiles se pueden alimentar desde una batería interna o desde una toma eléctrica. Por supuesto, en el caso de nosotros tener movilidad, vamos a apreciar muchísimo este hecho, ¿verdad?, de que se pueden alimentar de una batería. Además, ofrecen opciones de conectividad múltiple, como es el caso de la conexión de cable de red o vía Wi-Fi o quizás Bluetooth. Eh, También ofrecen conexiones tipo USB, HDMI, en el caso de que quisiéramos integrarle un monitor externo, ¿verdad? Para que las computadoras portátiles sean más portátiles, algunas opciones de conexión de periféricos pueden requerir hardware adicional, como es el caso de un dock, ¿verdad? Que es un dock, es un dispositivo que tiene unos puertos adicionales para anexar algunos periféricos. Los smartphones ejecutan sistemas operativos también especiales diseñados para dispositivos móviles. Pueden tener una capacidad de actualización limitada del sistema operativo y pueden requerir la compra de nuevo modelo para aprovechar las funciones y las aplicaciones más recientes del sistema operativo. Estos sistemas operativos están en constante actualización. Además, estos dispositivos nos permiten la incorporación de esto que llamamos nosotros aplicaciones a través de estos sitios, por ejemplo, como Google Play, Apple App Store, ¿verdad? También tienen opciones de conectividad para voz, texto y servicios de datos, y otras conexiones de datos incluyen Bluetooth y Wi-Fi. La mayoría de los smartphones incluyen la función de sistemas de posicionamiento global, ¿verdad? Porque tienen GPS, un receptor de GPS, un teléfono usa satélite para determinar la ubicación geográfica del dispositivo. Algunas aplicaciones permiten que un smartphone actúe como GPS de navegación que proporciona orientación para conducir, andar en bicicleta o caminar. Los dispositivos sin un servicio de GPS aún pueden determinar la ubicación de manera menos precisa utilizando la información proveniente de las antenas de servicios móviles cercanos o los puntos de acceso Wi-Fi cercanos. Otras funciones de algunos smartphones es la capacidad de anclaje a red o de compartir la conexión de datos celulares con otros dispositivos. Entonces es posible que nosotros tengamos un celular y nosotros lo utilicemos para conectar, por ejemplo, nuestra portátil a Internet. Esa función se le denomina anclaje de red. Los tablets y lectores electrónicos son otros tipos de dispositivos smart, ¿verdad? usan sistemas operativos también móviles como Android o iOS. Las tablets suelen ofrecer conectividad igual que vamos a decir que los celulares y las portátiles, ¿verdad? También tienen este tipo de conexiones Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, USB. La mayoría de las aplicaciones que funcionan en los teléfonos también están disponibles para la tablet. A diferencia de los smartphones, las tablets suelen tener pantallas táctiles más grandes. La mayoría de las tablets no tienen la capacidad de acceder a redes celulares ni suelen incluir receptores de GPS. Este tipo de dispositivos a veces son utilizados como por ejemplo para hacer una administración o en otras ocasiones se utilizan para lectores de libros también, ¿verdad? Los lectores electrónicos como Amazon Kindle son dispositivos con fines especiales con pantallas en blanco y negro que se ha optimizado para leer texto. Decir verdad que Kindle nos permite entonces la adquisición de libros a través de Amazon Book, por ejemplo, y nosotros entonces tener acceso a la lectura de estos libros. Si bien se asemejan a las tablets, carecen de muchas de las características y funciones que proporcionan las tablets. Muchos tienen pantallas táctiles que facilitan la tarea de pasar páginas, cambiar la configuración y acceder a los libros electrónicos en línea. Para la conectividad, algunos ofrecen conexiones de datos móviles gratuitos para descargar libros de una tienda específica, pero la mayoría se basa en Wi-Fi, ¿verdad? La vida útil de la batería del lector electrónico suele ser más larga que la de las tabletas. Los dispositivos de vestir, ¿verdad? Estos dispositivos denominados de vestir son como por ejemplo este tipo de reloj, ¿verdad? Que hoy en día ya tienen esta funcionalidad Smart. Los sensores de reloj inteligente pueden recopilar datos sobre diversos aspectos del cuerpo y usan Bluetooth para enviar esta información a otros dispositivos. Algunos relojes inteligentes pueden conectarse directamente a una red celular, usar los servicios de ubicación de GPS, proporcionar pantallas convenientes para las notificaciones de las aplicaciones y almacenar y reproducir música y listas de reproducción. Los rastreadores de estado físico son similares a los relojes inteligentes, pero se limitan a monitorear el cuerpo como actividad física, el sueño y el ejercicio. En la realidad aumentada, AR, los gráficos de las computadoras se integran con lo que se ve en el mundo real. Las superposiciones de gráficas pueden abarcar desde caracteres animados en una aplicación de juegos hasta información para la capacitación de administración de emergencias para los servicios de emergencia. En la realidad virtual, un usuario lleva un casco especial que muestra gráficos de una computadora independiente. Los gráficos son envolventes y tridimensionales y crean mundos muy realistas. Los sensores detectan los movimientos del usuario de VR y permiten que el usuario interactúe y se desplace por el entorno virtual. Vamos a ver una explicación en video de las características externas exclusivas de las computadoras portátiles. Bien, acá tenemos el video.
Hello, everyone. It seems that the world of IT is now focused on efficiency and convenience. Across the globe, we have laptops being sold more than desktops. IT professionals and the consumer want to be mobile. They want to be able to work whenever and wherever they choose without being tied to a desk or cubicle. Both desktop computers and laptops have a lot of the same hardware features in common, but their placement is very different. So let's look at the external features that are unique to laptops. To start, we'll take a look at the front of the laptop. For my laptop in particular, what we can see here are the LED lights. And these LED lights, we'll take a look at and discuss in a later video. But right at the middle front of the laptop, mine has a locking mechanism for the lid. It's a basic lever. Close the laptop, and it locks the lid closed. Protects the keyboard and screen. Below that on my laptop, I have a secure digital multimedia card reader. You can use this for your camera cards and other devices. Besides the front of the laptop, we're going to take a look at the side. This is one of the most important items in my book. It's called the ventilation grill. The ventilation grill is extremely important as it allows our laptops to eject hot air when the internal fan turns on to cool it. This process allows our laptop to function. As our laptops get smaller and thinner, it is more difficult to keep the components inside at a consistent and cool temperature. Remember, we've got a CPU, RAM, hard drive, and a graphics card that generate heat as it operates. And this heat has to be expelled to bring in cool air and pass it over the laptop components. We want to keep these ventilation grills clean from a good airflow. Next, we have two USB 2.0 ports. Here we connect webcams, mice, external keyboards, flash drives, and more. Next to that, we also have a FireWire port. This is an older standard FireWire 1394A that allows 400 megs per second of speed. There's many different FireWire standards. To the right of that, I have my microphone port. I can plug in an external mic here. I have my headphone jack. I can plug in external speakers or headphones. And above that, I have a PC card slot. You're able to push in and pop out the plastic protector, and you can put in a PC card of your choice. Slide that back in there and take a look at another side of the laptop. Let's go to the back of the laptop. On the back of the laptop, the first thing that we're going to find is on the far left side. Now, it might be in a different location on yours, but this is called the security keyhole slot. This is special. It's a hard point on the laptop where you can connect a security cable and secure this laptop down to a desk. This is extremely helpful if you're traveling and or using your laptop in an unsecure area. Now, it's not a foolproof way to secure your laptop. It's just a convenient method to provide a deterrent to would-be thieves. On the other side of my laptop here, I actually have a couple different ports. Here is where I have my power port. This is where you're going to plug in your power adapter that goes into the wall. To the right of that, I have an S-video port. And to the right of that, I have a VGA monitor port, hooking to an external VGA monitor. Lastly, on this side, we can take a look and see that I have a DVD-RW drive. We can use this with our optical discs. I have another USB 2.0 port. I've got my Ethernet network jack, and I've got my RJ11 phone jack. I can connect that and get access for something like a modem. Now, before we close it up, it would be important for us to take a look at the bottom of our laptop. On the bottom of our laptop, we have a couple of different items. Let me place it down. So on the bottom of the laptop, you can see that we have a battery that's flushly connected in. We've got our locking lever and release in order to actually pop that battery out as we want to and put a new battery in. Now, it is possible to have an AC adapter plugged into your laptop without the battery. It'll be running just like a desktop computer, but you lose all your mobility. So that's why we love to have laptop batteries that hold the charge and work. Below the batteries, I actually have this port here. This is for my docking station. We'll talk about docking stations in another video, but that's what we would use with this power connector to plug it into a docking station. Now, besides talking that, we have these screws here with these compartments. These compartments are special because inside of here, we have accessible items that we can work on with this laptop. For example, in this compartment, you'll be able to find that we have our RAM, random access memory. Over here, we have the wireless card, which you could replace on this laptop. And replace it rather easily, actually. Down below over here, this is where the hard drive is if you want to replace that. All these components are available because of this easy access component. Now we see all these grills here, just like we saw on the side. These are ventilation grills like we discussed earlier. Over here is where the actual fan is. That's going to be sucking in air from the bottom of the laptop and ejecting it out the side over here. Now, on some laptops, you may find other slots in the bottom of the laptop. But take a look at the laptop you have nearby and also do some research on what exists on the internet. There's many more ports and connectors than even this laptop has. And also, some of the new laptops may not have some of the ports that we discussed. Thanks for watching. Go and explore.
Muy bien, continuemos. Placas bases. La naturaleza compacta de las computadoras portátiles exige que numerosos componentes internos quepan en un espacio reducido, ¿verdad? Esto también es denominado en las PC placas madres. Las restricciones de tamaño del como resultado una variedad de factores de forma de algunos componentes de las computadoras portátiles, como la placa base, también denominada motherboard, ¿verdad? La memoria RAM y la CPU. Algunos componentes de la computadora portátil, como la CPU, pueden estar diseñados para usar menos energía. Las placas bases de las computadoras de escritorio tienen factores de forma estándar. El tamaño y la forma estándar permite a las placas bases de distintos fabricantes encajar en gabinetes de escritorios comunes. Las placas bases de la computadora portátil varían según fabricante y son exclusivas. Veamos acá entonces un cuadro de comparación de diseño de las computadoras portátiles y de escritorio. En el caso del factor de forma de la placa base en una computadora portátil está patentado, en una computadora de escritorio es ATX, micro ATX, mini ITX o ITX. La ranura de expansión, en el caso de la computadora portátil vamos a conseguir mini PCI, mientras que en las computadoras de escritorio vamos a conseguir PCI, PCI Express y mini PCI. El tipo de ranura de memoria RAM en el caso de las portátiles es SO-DIMM, mientras que en las computadoras de escritorio son DIMM, ¿verdad? Esto por factores de formas y tamaños. Los componentes internos. Los componentes internos de las computadoras portátiles están diseñados para adaptarse a los espacios reducidos del factor de forma de la computadora portátil. Vamos a conseguir los mismos componentes, ¿verdad?, que en una PC, con la diferencia que es un poco más reducido, como es el caso de la RAM, en este caso SODIMM, el caso del CPU, ¿verdad?, que va a ser un poco más pequeño. Vamos a tener unidades SATA, ¿verdad?, que son este tipo de disco duro. A ver, vamos a señalizar por acá. Bien, por ejemplo, como tenemos acá, esto sería entonces una unidad SATA por este tipo de conexiones, ¿verdad?, que vemos acá. Y las unidades de estado sólido, que son las unidades de almacenamiento más modernos, ¿verdad? Es decir, que son bastante o le dan muchísima más velocidad hoy en día a los dispositivos de almacenamiento. Teclas de funciones especiales. El propósito de las teclas de la función Fn, vean, como nos las muestran acá, voy a buscar mi otro apuntador porque me gusta más. Bien, entonces vemos acá que nos señalizan la tecla Fn, ¿verdad? Y al mismo tiempo vamos a presionar la tecla F7, ¿verdad? Estas son las denominadas teclas de funciones. La función a la que se accede al presionar la tecla Fn junto con otra tecla está impresa en la tecla en una fuente más pequeña o de otro color o con un icono. Algunos ejemplos de funciones en las que se puede acceder son pantallas dobles, configuración de volumen, opciones de medios como avances rápidos o retroceso, retroalimentación del teclado, orientación de la pantalla, brillo de la pantalla, encendido o apagado del Wi-Fi, red celular y Bluetooth, opciones de medios como reproducción o retroceso, activar o desactivar el panel táctil, activar o desactivar el GPS y el modo avión, ¿verdad? Entonces, ¿qué es lo que hacemos cuando presionamos esta tecla en función? Que tenemos prácticamente acceso a unas configuraciones rápidas de todos estos servicios antes mencionados, ¿verdad? Bien, veamos entonces una explicación en video de la estación de acoplamiento. Esto también denominado dock, ¿verdad? Segundo, me equivoqué acá. Segundo, que perdí el video, ya lo coloco. Ya lo localicé. Por acá lo tenemos. Muy bien, entonces veamos este video de la explicación del dock.
So common may find or may not find in the workplace. This mysterious item would be a docking station or a port replica. The docking station allows a laptop computer to function similarly as a desktop computer in the workplace. It does this by utilizing extra ports and connectors in order to connect peripheral devices, as well as provide functionality and connectors that may not be built into your laptop. So here is my docking station that we can take a look at. On my docking station, what we can find here is a security key slot, just like we saw on a laptop computer. And these security key slots allow you to lock this docking station down to a desk so it's not easy for thieves to steal. Next to that, we have an S video connector. We have a component display. We've got this one here, which is actually an optional proprietary monitor stand connector for a specific vendor. We've got our speaker out port. We've got our line in audio connector. We've got PS2 mouse and keyboard, the green and purple. They've got this turquoise serial port, which is not common to find anymore. We've got our maroon or purple parallel port, common with printers. We've got our VGA. This goes to our new monitor out. DVI for display out as well. And here, this is your power. This is where we actually are going to be connecting our power connector, which will also power our laptop and charge the battery. Over here, we have our RJ11 connector. We have our RJ45 Ethernet. We've got two USB ports. Now on this side over here, we have another two USB ports to make a total of 4 USB ports completely. So what's the big deal about a docking station? Well, imagine being able to keep the docking station sitting on your desk in your cubicle or office at work. You would leave your peripherals and external connectors plugged into the docking station. When you arrive at work, you would simply place your laptop on top of your docking station and you'd be able to lock it in. Now, to lock it in, what we actually have here is this docking connector. Also, you see these little stands. You would take your laptop and you have the docking connector here with those holes for the stand. And we'd simply press it on top and lightly press down. And now it's locked in to the docking station. When I'm ready to leave work and I'm done for the day, all I need to do is push down on this eject button here. My laptop is ready to go with. So what's a port replicator then? Well, these docking stations are commonly proprietary in nature. For example, this one, with a proprietary docking connector for laptops made by that vendor. A port replicator usually connects via USB. The port replicators commonly have less features than these docking stations and less connectors. Since port replicators connect via USB, they're better designed for multi-vendor devices in the workplace. Different employees will be able to use the same workspace at the workplace. Next time you see one of these docking stations or you find a port replicator, you know how to interact and better utilize it.
Bien, continuemos. Vemos entonces ahora las pantallas LCD, LED y OLED. Existen tres tipos de pantallas de computadoras portátiles. Pantalla de cristal líquido, LCD, suele usar neumático, trenzado TN o switching implanted, IPS. Diodo emisor de luz LED usa menos energía y tiene una vida útil más larga que las pantallas de LCD. Diodo emisor de luz orgánico o LED suelen usarse para dispositivos móviles y cámaras digitales. Las características de las pantallas de computadora portátiles. Algunas características comunes de las pantallas de computadoras portátiles incluyen pantallas desmontables. Algunas computadoras portátiles permiten que la pantalla táctil se use como una tablet cuando la pantalla se desmonta. Pantallas táctiles. Las computadoras portátiles con pantallas táctiles tienen una pieza de vidrio especial conectada al frente de la pantalla conocida como digitalizador. Interruptores de apagados. El interruptor de apagado ayuda a conservar la energía al cerrar la pantalla. Luces de fondo y convertidores. Dos tipos comunes de luces de fondo son lámparas fluorescentes de cátodo frío, CCFL, diodo emisor de luz LED. Los componentes de las pantallas incluyen luces de fondos y convertidores, retroalimentación fluorescentes, convertidor, retroiluminación LED. Los componentes de Wi-Fi incluyen conectores de antenas de Wi-Fi. Las antenas de Wi-Fi de las computadoras portátiles generalmente se ubican sobre la pantalla. Por ejemplo, aquí lo vemos. Vemos acá entonces, esta sería la tarjeta Wi-Fi. Conectores de la antena de Wi-Fi. La antena Wi-Fi está conectada a una tarjeta inalámbrica por un cable de antena y conectores de antena. Vemos acá entonces esos cables que nos mencionan, ¿verdad? Este que está acá y este que está acá. Las guías de cables de antena de Wi-Fi, los cables se sujetan a la unidad de pantalla por las guías de cable que se encuentran en los lados de la pantalla. Esas guías, ¿verdad? Son estas que vemos acá, estas especies de canales, esto con la finalidad de ubicar bien y distribuir los cables dentro de la portátil. Aquí vemos también parte de esas guías, ¿no? Cámara web y micrófono. Bueno, esto ya nosotros lo sabemos, la mayoría de los equipos, ¿verdad? Ya portátiles disponen de una cámara que nos permiten entonces nosotros hacer videoconferencia, videollamadas y aquí la vemos ubicada, por ejemplo, acá y acá la vemos más pequeña. También estos dispositivos gozan de un micrófono interno que se encuentra al lado de la cámara web. O sea, aquí lo vemos un poco más pequeño, señalizado acá, ¿verdad? El puntico chiquitito que está allí. Algunos fabricantes pueden colocar el micrófono junto al teclado o en los costados de las computadoras portátiles. O sea, esto no es un estándar, ¿verdad? Que lo vamos a conseguir siempre al lado de la pantalla. Bien, vamos a ver la configuración de una pantalla, de una computadora portátil. Administración de energía. Configurar los parámetros de energía de la computadora portátil para que administre mejor el consumo de la energía garantiza que la batería se use de forma eficiente. La administración de energía controla el flujo de electricidad que llega a los componentes de una PC. La interfaz avanzada de configuración de energía ACPI crea un puente entre el hardware y el sistema operativo y permite a los técnicos crear esquemas de administración de energía para obtener el mejor rendimiento de la computadora portátil. Entonces aquí vemos un poco lo que hace este software denominado a CPI, ¿verdad? Que nos da entonces estas opciones de energía, ¿verdad? La computadora está encendida y la CPU está en funcionamiento, S0. S1, la CPU y la RAM continúan recibiendo energía, pero los dispositivos que no están en uso se apagan. S2, la CPU está apagada, pero la RAM se actualiza, el sistema está en modo inferior a S1. S3, la CPU está apagada y la frecuencia de actualización definida para la RAM es lenta. Este modo suele denominarse guardar en RAM. Este estado se conoce como modo de suspensión. S4, la CPU y la RAM están desactivadas. En contenido de la RAM se guarda en un archivo temporal en el disco duro. Este modo también se denomina guardar en disco. Este estado se conoce como modo de invernación, ¿verdad? Sería entonces el estado S4. S5, la computadora está apagada. Decir verdad que nosotros todos estos modos podemos configurarlos en las configuraciones de energía de nuestro dispositivo portátil. Con frecuencia los técnicos deben ajustar los parámetros de energía modificando los parámetros de la configuración del BIOS, ¿verdad? En el caso de Legacy, y UEFI en el caso moderno. Aquí vemos, por ejemplo, cómo se accede a la configuración del BIOS y entramos en la pestaña Power, donde nosotros vamos a poder hacer ciertas modificaciones de ACPI. Los estados del sistema, los modos de la batería, la administración térmica, la administración de energía del bus PCI, de la CPU, el Waits on LAN, el modo de administración de energía CPI debe estar habilitado en la configuración del BIOS o de UEFI para que el sistema operativo pueda configurar los estados de administración de energía. Entonces, ok, aquí vemos que este modo ACPI está habilitado, ¿verdad? Bien, veamos entonces una demostración en video de la administración de las opciones de energía de la computadora portátil.
Hello, everyone. It's time for us to go over some laptop power options. Here we're going to manage the consumption of power for our laptop device. And not only powering of here is how we control power. It's going to be interactive of how we can make the laptop function better for us, utilizing the power options that are available to us. So let's take a look. First, if I wanted to, I can right-click on my battery indicator and click on power options. That would take me where we want to go. Or, for the more efficient, I can click on Start, click on Control Panel, and then inside of my control panel, I can go to Hardware and Sound. Inside of Hardware and Sound, you will also find Power Options. I'll click on Power Options, and now this is where we're going to spend some time. To begin, the first thing we want to do is control the actions of what our power and sleep buttons do, as well as what happens when we close the lid of our laptop. I go to the left side of my screen, I can click on Choose what the power button to do. When I click on Choose what the power button do, what we'll see here first is that I have some options I can switch between, and these are based off of two columns. I've got a column regarding what's going to happen when my computer is on battery power only, and I press the power button, or the sleep button, or when I'm physically closing the lid. I have a whole another column regarding when the computer is plugged into a power adapter that goes to a wall, and how the computer is going to respond when you press the power button or sleep button or close the lid. So for example, if my laptop is plugged in and I press the power button, I can click my drop-down menu and I can have it shut down. Also, when I press the sleep button, I'd probably like it to sleep. And sleep is using less power than being on. But hibernate is the lowest amount of power that can be pulled. The system state will be saved to the hard drive. It's like hibernate. Now I can choose between sleep and hibernate for any one of these items as I see fit. Also, when I close the lid, I can just have my laptop do nothing. The display would turn off, but the computer would still be running full power and going. But of course, we can compare and contrast how we want to design this based off of the column on battery versus plugged in. Down below, I have some shutdown settings here. I can actually click my little shield up here, which is user account control, UAC, and it gives me access to the settings down below. Fast startup is similar to a hybrid hibernate. It uses the hibernate system file for us to be able to recover back. That allows us to recover faster than a hibernate, but then again, to use more power than a hibernate. We have our sleep option, as well as the hibernate option, and of course, just being the lock option. We're done with these settings. Go ahead and click Save Changes. Now we're back to our general power options screen. At this time, what we want to do is take a look at a power plan. We're in the power plan menu by default here in power options. But what I can do is I can click on change plan settings, and we'll see that for our plan of balanced, we can adjust our screen brightness, the actual time delay of when our screen will be turned on. Once you move your mouse cursor or push a key on the keyboard, it will come back on. Or also for inactivity, how long to put the computer to sleep. Putting the computer to sleep saves us some battery power, but not as much as that fast startup or hibernate or turning the computer on. Also, regarding screen brightness, we can control the default brightness level when we're running on battery or when we're plugged in to a power outlet. At this time, it's time for us to go a little bit deeper into our plan settings. I want to show you some of the powerful options you can have regarding saving battery life and optimizing your usage. I'm going to click on Change Advanced Power Settings. Inside of Advanced Power Settings, we want to focus on literally physical characteristics that can change. For example, the plan I'm on right now is Balanced Active, and you can create other plans and use different plans. With a plan of Balanced Active, I can change how many minutes until the hard disk is turned on. Or for even more settings, I can go and expand wireless adapter settings and the power saving mode, and I can choose regarding performance of my wireless adapter card depending on if my laptop's running on battery or running off of a wall outlet. This allows you to really customize that power usage depending on how mobile you're actually being. Outside of the wireless adapter settings, I can even scroll down and go to the battery settings, and this is extremely important. In the battery settings, if I can expand, I can actually set levels for alerts regarding when my battery is marked as having a low battery level or even a critical battery level. So for example, I can expand critical battery level and I can choose the percentage for when my laptop should notify me that it has critical battery left. And even better, once that critical battery percentage is hit, I can actually control the action. I can expand critical battery action, and I can have my computer automatically, if it's running on battery only, without being plugged in, I can have that automatically shut down the machine. So I'm not going to have to worry about having errors on my machine by just powering up randomly because it finally runs out of battery. If it's plugged into a wall outlet, I can just have it go straight to a sleep or hibernate, or even do nothing. Maybe I just plug into the wall outlet and expect it to charge very quickly and higher than that critical battery. We have a lot of customization we can do here. We have a lot of fine tuning. So make sure that you play with your own power options, customize your laptop to work best for you and your work environment, and become that awesome IT professional.
Muy bien, decir entonces que este tipo de configuración de energías contribuyen a alargar el tiempo de duración de la carga de la batería, pero también contribuyen a alargar su vida útil, ¿verdad? Por ello debemos realizar una buena configuración de la energía. Vamos a ver las configuraciones inalámbricas y vamos a ver esta tecnología denominada Bluetooth, ¿verdad? Que está regulado por el estándar 802.15 del Instituto de Ingenieros Eléctricos y Electrónicas, denominado también IEEE. Describe la especificación técnica de Bluetooth. Los dispositivos Bluetooth admiten voz, música, video y datos. La distancia de una red de área personal Bluetooth, PAN, ¿verdad?, Personal Area Network está dada por la cantidad de energía consumida por los dispositivos de dicha red. La tecnología Bluetooth más común tiene un alcance de aproximadamente 33 pies o 10 metros, ¿verdad? El estándar Bluetooth incluye medidas de seguridad. La primera vez que se conecta un dispositivo Bluetooth, se lo autentica mediante un PIN. Esto se conoce como emparejamiento Bluetooth. Admiten cifrados de 128 bits y autenticación mediante PIN. Conexiones Bluetooth de computadoras portátiles. Windows activa la conexión a dispositivos Bluetooth de manera predeterminada. Si la conexión no está activa, busquen un interruptor en el frente o en los costados de la computadora portátil. Algunos computadores portátiles pueden tener una tecla de función especial en el teclado para habilitar la conexión. Si la computadora portátil no cuenta con tecnología Bluetooth, puede adquirir un adaptador Bluetooth que se conecte a un puerto USB. Antes de instalar y configurar un dispositivo, asegúrese de que Bluetooth está habilitado en el BIOS. Encienda el dispositivo y colóquelo en modo visible. Utilice el asistente para Bluetooth para buscar y detectar los dispositivos Bluetooth que se encuentran en el modo visible. Vamos a ver entonces una demostración en video de la configuración de Bluetooth.
Hello, everyone. We want to get some Bluetooth connectivity going here at our computer. And to do this, there's a couple ways to go about it. There's really three common ways to go. It depends on your Windows operating system. But here in Windows 10, the first thing I can do is click on my Action Center in the bottom right corner, and I can make sure that my Bluetooth is even on, which is Bluetooth and not connected. I can click on that to turn off Bluetooth, or I can click on it and turn it on. I can even right-click on it and click on Go to Settings, and that's going to take me to my Bluetooth settings immediately, which is great. Let's go two other methods. What I can do in Windows is I can click on the Start button, and I can go to the Control panel, and in the Control panel, I can go to Add a Device, which is inside of Hardware and Sound. And I can add a device, including Bluetooth, that way. Another way I can do it is I can go to Start, and I can type in Settings, and I can click on Settings. Inside of Settings, I can go to Devices, and in Devices, we'll be here at the Bluetooth settings. Whichever way you prefer, there's multiple ways to get to the same destination. At this point, what I want to do is add a Bluetooth device. So we're going to pause here, and I'm going to turn on my Bluetooth headset. So I've got my Bluetooth headset, and every model is different. We're not here to do a video on a Bluetooth headset, but in general, this is the Bluetooth device I'm going to connect. So after researching my device and pulling up the manufacturer's manual for this, I need to put this headset into pairing mode. In pairing mode, it will be able to connect with our computer. So I have the power button here, and there's an indicator light. I can press and hold that power button. And according to my manual, when the light starts flashing red and blue, alternating, then it's in pairing mode. There we go. It's red and blue. Now it's in pairing mode, and we can continue by adding it to our computers. Okay. So to continue, the Bluetooth headset is on, and it's going to be in a pairing mode. What I need to do now is click Add Bluetooth for other device. When I click on that, it wants to know what type of device I'm going to be adding on. I'm going to click on Bluetooth, because this is going to be an audio device for a headset. So look for the devices. Here it finds some. This is the headset that I have connected that I want to hook up via Bluetooth. Click on that audio headset, and it's going to connect to it and pair with that headset. The device is ready to go. It says we're connected with voice and music through my headset wirelessly using Bluetooth with my computer. I'll click on Done. Now we can even verify this by going back to our Action Center here in Windows 10, and we can see Bluetooth and the name of the device that's connected. When I'm done for the day, I can always turn off my Bluetooth adapter, which will disconnect it from my headset. Also in the future, if I turn on my Bluetooth on my computer, if that headset is nearby, it should be able to connect back to it automatically. And there it is. Bluetooth is on and the headset is connected again.
Muy bien, vemos entonces que la habilitación de Bluetooth nos permite emparejar periféricos, ¿verdad? En el caso de un headset, por ejemplo, ¿verdad? WAN celular. Los computadores portátiles que poseen capacidades de WAN de datos móviles integrados no requieren software de instalación ni antenas o accesorios adicionales. Algunos computadores portátiles pueden usar una tecla de función especial en el teclado para habilitar la conexión o un interruptor físico en la parte delantera o lateral de la computadora portátil. Muchos teléfonos celulares proporcionan la capacidad de conectar a otros dispositivos a Internet. Esta conexión, conocida como anclaje de red, se puede realizar mediante Wi-Fi, Bluetooth o mediante un cable USB. Cuando un teléfono celular permite que los dispositivos Wi-Fi se conecten y utilicen la red de datos móviles, esto se denomina una zona Wi-Fi portátil. También puede acceder a una red celular mediante un punto de acceso celular, ¿verdad? Entonces, en este caso podemos decir que el celular lo podemos utilizar como un módem, ¿verdad? Para establecer una conexión de nuestro portátil a Internet. Wi-Fi. Las computadoras portátiles generalmente acceden a Internet mediante adaptadores inalámbricos. Estos adaptadores inalámbricos los tenemos acá. Vemos acá entonces, por ejemplo, un mini PCI. Esto sería el equivalente a una tarjeta de red inalámbrica. Un mini PCI Express. Un PCI Express Micro, ¿verdad? Decir que todo esto es lo mismo, lo único sería la variación de forma. Las LAN inalámbricas están reguladas, ¿verdad? Por la 8.11a, 8.11b y la 8.11g. Hoy en día, ¿verdad? Ya tenemos redes más rápidas, ¿verdad? Bajo la normativa 8.11n y 8.11ac. Vamos a ver un video de la configuración de Wi-Fi.
Hello, everyone. It's time to get our laptop hooked to a wireless network. It's time to get our laptop hooked to a wireless network. There's a couple ways to go about doing this. We use the wireless network indicator in the bottom right corner, which currently says we're not connected. This connection is available. Or we click on Start, and we can search for a control panel. And we can then click on a control panel. Third option is we could just right-click on the Start button. Then inside of here, you can go straight to network connections. We can click on. We're going to take the long run. So we'll click on Start, search for our control panel. We'll click on Control Panel. When the control panel opens up, we can click on Network and Internet. Instead of Network and Internet, we can see our Network and Sharing Center, as well as we have the option to connect to a network. If I just click on Connect to a network, it's going to pop up my wireless connections that are available. These are all the wireless networks near me. To connect to a wireless network, I can click on the guest wireless network, which we see as strong signal strength. Then I can click Connect. I can choose to connect automatically when I'm nearby this guest network, or to have to manually connect to it each time I want to. So for me, I'm going to manually connect it when I want to by unchecking the connecting network. I'll click Connect, and I'll type in the security key for the guest Wi-Fi that I'm nearby. I'll click Next, and it's going to ask me a question. Do I want my machine to be discoverable with other devices? This is regarding your device and file sharing and firewall settings. Because this is the guest network, I'm going to go ahead and click No. I do not want to be discovered for other PCs on the network. After clicking no and putting in that password for the guest Wi-Fi, you can see that I'm connected and secure. I'm on the network, I'm able to browse.
Muy bien, vamos a ver la instalación y configuración de hardware y componentes en computadoras portátiles. Express Card, Bus Express Card 54, tamaño 75 milímetros por 54 milímetros, grosor 5 milímetros, interfaz PCI Express, USB 2.0 o USB 3.0. Ejemplo, lector de tarjetas inteligentes, lector de compact flash y unidad de disco de 1.8 in. ¿Verdad? Aquí tenemos entonces una imagen de este Express Card. ¿Verdad? Bus Express, Express Card 34, este que tenemos acá, su tamaño es de 75 milímetros por 34 milímetros, el grosor es de 5 milímetros y la interfaz es PCI Express, USB 2.0 o USB 3.0. Ejemplos de uso sería un firewall, sintonizador de TV o NIT inalámbrica. Memory flash, ya las tenemos acá, bastante conocidas, seguramente las hemos utilizado. ¿Ya? Tenemos este encapsulamiento, un dispositivo de almacenamiento extraíble que se conecta a un puerto de expansión como USB, SATA o FireWire. ¿Ya? Aquí vemos este tipo de conexión. Las tarjetas flash, muy utilizadas, por ejemplo, para cámaras, ¿verdad? Cámaras fotográficas para almacenar y allí, digamos, ver nuestras fotografías o imprimirlas inclusive. Vemos entonces que los computadores tienen un lector donde podemos colocar directamente ese tipo de tarjeta, ¿verdad? Lector de tarjetas inteligentes, más utilizado para el caso bancario, como vemos acá, para cuando realizamos nuestros pagos. Y aquí vemos este tipo de conexiones. Puede utilizar para llamadas de teléfono, pagos electrónicos en efectivo y otras aplicaciones. El microprocesador de la tarjeta inteligente puede contener mucha más información que la de una franja magnética. Los lectores de tarjetas inteligentes se usan para leer y escribir en tarjetas inteligentes. Existen dos tipos de lectores de tarjetas inteligentes: lectores de contacto. Este tipo de lector requiere una conexión física a la tarjeta que se realiza insertando la tarjeta en la unidad, ¿verdad? Como es este caso de acá, y sin contacto, más utilizado actualmente, donde solamente se presenta la tarjeta sobre la pantalla, de manera de que el dispositivo pueda interpretar los datos. El tipo de memoria utilizado por la portátil es también denominado SOCDIMM. La mayoría de las computadoras portátiles usan un módulo de memoria más pequeño denominado SOCDIMM. Los SOCDIMM pueden clasificarse aún más por la versión de DDR. Podemos ver entonces que es posible que tengamos DDR2, DDR3, DDR4, etc. Los diferentes modelos de computadoras portátiles requieren diferentes tipos de módulos SOCDIMM. En la mayoría de las computadoras portátiles, la RAM se inserta en las ranuras detrás de una cubierta de la parte inferior del gabinete. En algunas computadoras portátiles es necesario quitar el teclado para acceder a las ranuras de RAM. Es posible ver la cantidad de memoria RAM actualmente instalada en la pantalla del POS, en el BIOS o en la ventana Propiedades del sistema, en el caso de un sistema operativo Windows, ¿verdad? Vamos a ver una demostración en video de la instalación de este tipo de memorias.
it's time for us to do an upgrade on RAM. So in this video, we're going to install SODIMM memory. And SODIMM RAM is the RAM we're going to use inside of our laptop. For us to get started, first we want to disconnect our battery. I'm going to release the battery by using my corresponding buttons on the back of the laptop. And I can pull that battery out. After removing the battery, it's time that we make sure there's no electricity left inside of our components. So I can open the laptop, I can press and hold that power button to discharge any remaining electricity. Now that all the power has been discharged from the laptop, we can close it up, and we want to access the RAM access panel. Here in the middle of our laptop, I can see that there's a symbol for RAM, and this is where we're going to open this up and change out the RAM inside of our laptop. So we have our zoomed in view, and we can see our symbol here that this is where our RAM memory is for this panel. You can see we have some ventilation here to help heat dissipate. Also, there's another screw here that this has a keyboard logo on. We just need to remove this screw here in order to access our RAM inside of our laptop. So I can go ahead and I'll unscrew. With the screw out, we just need to pop that panel up, and then we can access our RAM. Now, the question is going to come into play is, what type of RAM should we be using? Well, that's going to be based off of our documentation. Inside of here, we can take a look and see what type of RAM this is currently. Also, we can take a look at the documentation for the model and manufacturer of our laptop to see which RAM would be recommended to replace it. Now, to replace this stick of RAM that we see here, we have to take some steps. We've already got the power adapter unplugged from the laptop. We've already removed the battery from the laptop. Now that we have the RAM displayed, I can take these metal clips and I can pull them out. When I do that, the RAM is going to shift and it pops up at about a 45-degree angle. It's going to be loose, so now I can just take it from the ends and pull it straight out. I can put this on my anti-static mat that we're working in here at this time. So now I would get my new RAM that I'm going to replace the old RAM with. And again, this is going to be laptop memory. This is SODIMM. In comparison, here is desktop memory that I currently have. And you can take a look at the desktop memory size versus the laptop. There's a very big difference there. You're going to make sure that you're shopping for the right type of RAM. After you've purchased the correct type of RAM with maybe more memory or faster speeds, you want to install it. So you take the RAM that we purchased, and it's keyed. You can see the keyed slot there. So they're going to go in one way. I'll put it in at an angle. Again, it doesn't have to be precise, but you'll slide it at that angle about 45 degrees. You'll watch those gold pins go in, and I can just push it straight down, and those metal clips on the sides will lock into place. And there they are. They're locked in. Now, what you saw was only one RAM chip. Commonly, laptops have two. So where's the second one? Well, depending on the laptop and the manufacturer, that second RAM slot is probably under the keyboard, which means we would have to remove the corresponding screws to gain access under the keyboard and touchpad, and there we would find the second RAM slot. So we can go about doing that in another video when we access underneath the keyboard and touchpad. To close it up, we'll literally take that access panel and slide it back into place. It's in, and then we would screw it back closed. Again, we completed our RAM upgrade for our laptop.
Muy bien, entonces vemos la ranura, ¿verdad? Donde podemos realizar un upgrade en el caso de la memoria. Decir que podemos tener una memoria de 4 y queremos quizás aumentarlo a 8 gigas, entonces tenemos que ingresarlo a través de ese tipo de socket, ¿verdad? Bien, vamos a ver una descripción general del reemplazo del hardware. Algunas partes de las computadoras portátiles, comúnmente denominadas unidades, que puede reemplazar el usuario. Pueden ser reemplazadas por el cliente. Las CRU incluyen componentes como la batería y la memoria RAM de una computadora portátil. Estos son, vamos a decir, upgrade que puede realizar un cliente, digamos, motivados a que son bastante fáciles de realizar. Las partes que el cliente no debe reemplazar se denominan unidades de reemplazo de campo, FRU. Las FRU incluyen componentes como la placa base, pantalla LCD y el teclado. Decir, ¿verdad? Que para realizar entonces estos cambios necesitamos un conocimiento mayor, ¿verdad? Un poco más técnico. A continuación se presentan algunas de las reparaciones comunes que se llevan a cabo en los centros de reparación locales. Diagnóstico de hardware y software, transferencia y recuperación de datos, reemplazo de teclado y ventilador, limpieza interna de la computadora portátil, reparación de la pantalla y reparación del convertidor y la luz de fondo de la pantalla LCD. Vamos a ver un video de cómo se hace un reemplazo de teclado.
Hello, everyone. We are here to replace a laptop keyboard. Now I have two different laptops to show off. This laptop with the keyboard, a little older, but still got a lot of features. For this model, we've got some locking tabs here that we'd have to work with. Also, on the back side of this laptop, we'll close it and flip it over. We'll find that we actually have screws to deal with as well. With this laptop, I have 1, 2, 3 screws that all have a keyboard icon on them, which has been identified by my manufacturer's manual. So for us to get started on this laptop, we would first unplug our power adapter. We would eject our battery from the laptop. And then we'd zoom in and take a look at these 3 screws. Let's go ahead. Now, if we take a close look, we can see that 1 screw, 2, and screw number 3 here. We'll zoom in on the middle one. And on that middle screw, what you'll see is a keyboard icon. Now, this is specific to this specific laptop. The other laptop I'm going to show does not have any screws that are securing the keyboard. For this laptop, though, when I follow the instructions in my manual, it says do not remove the screws, just loosen them. And that's what I've done. I've unscrewed them enough so that they're loose, and you can see how it's moving. Now that those screws have been loosened, I can turn my laptop back over, and we'll take a look at the keyboard. With those screws loosened, we've got our keyboard available here. We're going to take a look at the 4 sliding locking tabs, and we're going to have to unlock those by sliding them back. Right now, they're being held by that frame. So we'll zoom in and take a look at those 4 locking tabs regarding this specific laptop. So we are zoomed in, and we're going to take a look at these locking tabs. Here's the first one. And right now, this keyboard is being held by the frame. So I can take a flat object like my flat-headed screwdriver here. I can just slide that locking tab back. And now you can see the keyboard is loose there. I can continue for the rest of my keyboard. Slide the next lever back. Third one. Fourth. And now our keyboard completely loose, and we can pull it out. So that first laptop pretty much done, except for the connector. Let's take a look at the second laptop, as well as the same connector we would have seen on the first laptop. On the second laptop, there are no screws to remove on the bottom of the laptop. And also, there's no locking tab. Instead, we're just going to have our slots where we need to press to disengage the lock for the keyboard. So we'll zoom in on those, and I'll be able to show you how to do it. So if we take a closer look, we'll see at different locations, we have these securing clips for our keyboard. And again, there was no screws for this keyboard, which is very different than we saw on the other laptop. All you do is take a flat-headed object like my screwdriver. I can press in there, you'll hear it click. Now the keyboard is going to come off. I go across to every single securing clip, disengage it by pressing in there. Also, you can hold on to the keyboard as you depress on the securing clip. And now, here's my keyboard. I can flip it over. Underneath, we'll see 2 ribbon cables. We'll zoom in and take a look at those next. We've got our zoomed in view, and here we can see our 2 ribbon cables coming off of our system board and attaching to our keyboard of our laptop. So we need to remove these. Now, these are called the zip connectors, zero insertion ports, and they can be easy to break. Trust me, experience. So what we want to do is take a flat-bladed tool and we're going to remove both these ribbon cables. Now, you may just have one. I have two because I have one for the key to the keyboard, and I can just put my flat-bladed tool underneath, and I can literally just pull up this lever. And now, I'm going to take that ribbon cable out. So minimal force for this. We don't want to break these connectors. I have done. This other one for me, this second cable, this is for the power for the backlighting for my keyboard. My keyboard, the keys, they light up. This is the cable for the backlighting. So I did the same thing. Take a flat-bladed tool and I'll lift up and then zero insertion force connector. And I can just take the ribbon cable. You see how it's oriented? Up and take it out. So the keyboard is now completely removed, and now I can put in a new one. Assuming you bought a new keyboard, you would take your keyboard, put it face down, and then you'll locate the correct direction for your ribbon cable. And all you have to do is slide it into that zero insertion force connector, and it will just push down on that lever. Again, minimal force for that. It's not going to come out. I'll take the other ribbon cable. This one also is oriented with up on it. And this is for my backlighting of my keyboard. I'll put it in its slot for the zero insertion force connector. And once it's in, push down and secure it into place. At this time, I would zoom out and we'll finish our install of our keyboard. With those ribbon cables back and installed, we can take our keyboard, I can angle it in. You can see those tabs at the bottom. I need to slide into the laptop. And get those at the right locations, and that laptop keyboard will slide into place. With it slid into place, I can just push those locking clips back in across the top. And the keyboard is installed. Take your time with these steps as you replace your keyboard in your laptop. And remember, minimal force on those connectors. Do your best, follow the instruction manual for your specific laptop, and become that IT professional.
Muy bien, vemos entonces que hay que tener especial cuidado al realizar este procedimiento de cambio de un teclado, de no tirar muy fuerte de los flex, ¿verdad? O los bus de conexión, los cables que conectan el teclado a la tarjeta madre o motherboard. Hay que tener especial cuidado con ellos de no alarlo fuerte. Vamos a ver el reemplazo de una pantalla.
We're here to talk about replacing the screen of the laptop. Now we can focus exactly on our LCD or LED screen here that's inside of this bezel, or we can focus on removing the entire laptop display. So we're going to go through a little bit of both. So to get started, the first thing I want to do is remove this top panel here of my laptop. This is where my power buttons are, as well as where my capacitor launch. To do that, I'm going to close my laptop lid, turn it upside down. We have a couple of screws to remove. The screws I need to worry about are going to be these three right here. So I remove those screws, then we'll continue. With these three screws removed, and turn my laptop back over. Open it up. We can take a look at removing the power audio panel. Now to do this, we got to worry about something. There's a couple of those ZIF, zero insertion force connectors. Let's zoom in and take a look at what we can do with them. All right, with our zoomed in view, we've got our power control over here. Then we've got our audio control over there. These are both using zip connectors, which are a zero insertion. So very easily, and with minimal effort, just take the final screw down and pull off that connector. You do it again over here for my audio control. Very lucky. But same thing. Pull up lightly and flip connector and pull that cable. With the cable pulled out, with both of those regarding this top panel, Now I can take my flathead screwdriver and I can get in there and I can pop that pen in. The top panel removed, and take a look underneath, so we can actually see how our laptop display is hooked on the rest of the system. So we're going to zoom in on this and take a look at some of those screws that we can remove if we wanted to remove the entire display. Here at this top left corner, we can actually see the laptop hinge, and there is one of the Torx screws that I have to remove in order to remove this laptop display. On the other side, or to shift the laptop over, we'll see here's the other hinge. And again, over here, this is a screw that's holding on this entire laptop display. Now that's not it. There's more. Way back out. So on the back side of my laptop, there's also another screw that's holding on for that laptop display. I slide it over in the corner. We got the exact same thing. Another screw that's holding that laptop hinge on. So if you did want to remove the entire laptop display, which includes the laptop top casing and all, we would remove all those screws, then we would go to lift the display off. Before you can lift the display off, we'll take a closer look at this motherboard one more time and what's connected to it. Try to remove those 4 screws holding on those hinges, 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. We wouldn't be done. You couldn't just lift it off. What we have over here is the laptop LCD display cable. We'd have to physically pull up on this and remove it from the connector on the system board. Also, right above that LCD display cable, we've got multiple black wires. These black wires here go for the wireless antenna that go to the top of my display. Over here on the right side, I've got multiple wires. These 3 wires are also for wireless antennas. Now, based off of your laptop, you might even have wires for things like microphones, as well as even for a webcam. So keep that in mind. These connectors are things that we'd remove from the wireless cards, like we've done before. And we would use those connectors and uncable them from our little troughs here, which is the plastic frame, in order to be able to pull that entire display off the laptop. Now let's continue onwards talking about the exact screen itself and how we'd remove the LCD screen from our laptop. With this different view of our laptop, here we're going to take a look at removing and replacing the LCD screen itself, not the entire laptop display that we just talked about. To do this, we have these rubber pads here. Our laptop has 4 of them. I'll at first need to remove the rubber pads, and underneath them are screws that are holding this bezel on top of that screen. So I'll go ahead and do that now. For zoomed in view, you can see me take my flathead screwdriver, put off, and there is that screw underneath. And I'll just zoom out and do this 3 other times. With all 4 screws exposed, now I can remove those screws and get access to the bevel of my laptop. My 4 screws are removed. Now I'm going to use my flathead screwdriver, and I'm going to lightly pry out one of the corners. Now, please follow the manual for your laptop specifically. Mine requires a little bit of minimal force here. I'm going to pry out a corner. With that corner out, I can just lightly go around this. I can just pop it out. At this point at the top, I actually have to use my slider in order to unlock the laptop and move that display. The locks are stuck. The laptop locking. And now that my bezel's off, we have access to the LCD display. So there's lots of screws to take account here, as well as if we look closely, we will see the connectors that come down to the system board and also the connectors that go to the inverter that's taking care of our power for our display as well. I've shifted the laptop so we can take a look at our display up here. And at first glance, you're like, there is a lot of screws to remove to get this LCD display out of this casing. Well, Oddly enough, we only have one screw to remove here. And then over here, we have 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me show you these 4 on the side, how we're going to access them. To access those 4 screws, tilt my laptop to the side. But we actually see here, you'll see these slot covers. And these are, again, little rubber covers that we have here. This time, these are covering screws. So we either try to peel them off using a flathead screwdriver on this side, or what we can do is really see those screws, we push the cover down on this side over here. You see it lifts the cover up. With that cover lifted up, you then take them off. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the 4 covers, and I'm going to unscrew those 4 screws and take them to the side. With our 4 screws out on the side, we can now remove our last and final screw. The 5th screw out for my display. What I can do now is I can actually lift up this display. And if you can't get your finger under it, it's okay to use something like a flat tool. Just lift up. Now, this display is completely detached of any screw. What's holding it in place, though, at the bottom is what we mentioned before. I've got my connection, which goes to my inverter. I've got my main LCD connection, which goes back to the board as well. With all those removed, I'll be able to lift this display right out and put in a new display. After dropping that new display, I'll put those screws back in that we just removed and have a replaced laptop LCD screen. Make sure you consult your manual for these steps. Every laptop is going to be different, and please make sure you choose the correct specifications for the screen that you're replacing. So take your time, do your research, and become the best IT professional you can by being patient and following the correct steps.
Muy bien, decir que para realizar cada tipo de procedimiento, de un cambio de una pantalla o un teclado o cualquier otro hardware, ¿verdad? Perteneciente a un computador, es siempre importante tener una referencia de la marca y el modelo, ¿verdad? Porque de esa manera nosotros vamos a poder vamos a tener más información a la hora de realizar el desarme del equipo. Bien, y con este video que acabamos de ver, llegamos entonces al final de esta clase.